Intro. Okay. Morning. This is what, day three?
Yeah.
The beginning of day three.
Beginning of day three.
This is Vince Glennon. This is Kate Glennon.
I yesterday I basically did this.
What is this, hon?
Framed up the left wall as well as the door, put in the door jamb. Also did the electrical, so I moved the switch from here to
Well, I
here.
can't say around there on here, but
Believe me that the switch used to be on this wall. So now it's here. So I have to drill the wall, fish the wires through, bring it into the back of the box, and then so this switch now works. Alright, if you look here, you see I've done lines which is supposed to be the bottom of the
I can't
yeah.
see the line.
Because I'm gonna be putting a frame similar to this around the ceiling. Because the ceiling is gonna be in line with here when it's done. So we're gonna do a drop ceiling and anchor it to the current concrete ceiling and have that frame going across. So hopefully by the end of the day I should have the frame for the ceiling done, and then I'm gonna put in one more stud into this because math is my wife's job, not mine.
Oh, shut up.
And I incorrectly measured, and so one sheet of dry rock, the sheetrock, is 4 feet, and 4 feet actually stops about here. So I'm gonna have to put in a stud here to take the drywall, and then have to cut a piece of drywall to cover the gap between where it ends and here. But we have a couple places that we have to cut sheetrock for, so I figure one sheet will be the sacrificial lamb. But yeah, one sheet, we have an extra sheet. So that extra sheet is what's gonna get cut up into all the little bits and pieces. We're gonna have to fill in the back wall.
Back wall of which we spoke.
Right, so here's the back wall. As I said, this piece needs to go in. The ceiling, when it's done, should actually match this. So what you find is that the ceiling is gonna take 2 and a piece as well. So this same size piece is gonna go across the top. And so that's why I said we'll have one sheet that's a sacrificial cut up to make here, the ceiling, and the piece for the door. So I might even start messing around with sheeting tonight.
What is the sheeting for those of us who don't know?
Putting the sheets up. So
I thought the sheets were on, those aren't the sheets?
Yeah, no, I mean in terms of the other spaces.
Oh, I knew that.
So like putting in, this has to go in today before the ceiling frame goes up because based on how we're doing it, that's why these are up. I will put this corner sheet in because the ceiling is actually gonna strap to the front of this. So what you're gonna have is the if you look down here, this is the frame, the cap for the frame. And that's gonna be bolted across the top here. So that sheet is gonna go across somewhere in this ballpark, like about this height, to match back to the frame on the other side. And then we're gonna frame the sides and tie it together into one. So you're gonna have a strut going across here to meet back with the two frames and a strut going across that wall to create a rectangle frame. And then the struts are gonna be run across this way with reinforcement ties from the ceiling to hold the weight. So what we're gonna do is if you look here, you see these are some strut pieces. What we're gonna do with these, no problem. Oh yeah, it's right there. What I plan to do is literally just cut down the line here. Right. So by doing that, I'm gonna use the pliers. Don't wanna cut the hands. But basically the gist is we're gonna bend the framing. Don't worry, I'm looking for the pliers.
He found the pliers.
Found a plier substitute. And what you're gonna do with this is just bend it over like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna literally have the strut being made like that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill a hole through here and get to the ceiling like that. As we cut the struts, please be careful, don't cut yourself. Alright, so as you can see, all the leftover struts pieces are in this pile, and the reason we save them is because, like I just showed you, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be creating support, vertical supports that are gonna be anchored to the ceiling, the existing concrete ceiling, and then having the cross struts, so the cross members which are going to run from this side to that side, they're all going to be anchored in the middle to the ceiling. So we're going to have basically a strut's going to be going across, we're going to tie it to the back of this, and therefore we give added strength, and as a result, when we put the sheets up on them, we won't worry that the middle of the ceiling is going to come back down.
On his head.
On my head. Right, so the thing is, I don't know if you can hear it in this video, but the room already sounds different than it did yesterday. It's not as boomy. Day one, today is Thursday, so that would have been Tuesday. When I did the first video, I don't think, maybe you can hear it when I'm checking the actual video and see if we can hear it. But day one was really boomy when the whole room was open, even with the stuff in here. So this doesn't help. All the stuff I turned the bathroom into a storage pile for the time being while I do the room. But this was in there and the room still sounded boomy. Now the room sounds a little tighter. It's still not there because of course all the sheets aren't up yet. But it does sound a little different, a little less boomy. I guess partly it is because the ply does a lot more absorption, whereas the concrete does a lot of reflection. So I'm thinking I'm absorbing a lot more of my high frequencies in that 2 sheets of ply right there. So once the rest of the ply comes in and the ceiling.
For those of us who don't know, the ply and the sheetrock are the same things.
Okay, yeah. So
which is the same thing as the drywall.
Interchanging between saying the ply, which when I say a ply, I mean just a sheet of sheetrock or drywall. Since sheetrock, as my wife found out, is the brand of the drywall.
Yes, confusing those.
So when I say ply or sheet or drywall or sheetrock, I'm referring to the same thing. So, like I said, sheetrock or drywall, because of how it's made up, it's really just chalk dust caught between paper. And so as a result, it's like 1/2 inch thick. So it does a lot of absorption, which is that it allows the sound energy to go through it. So what you'll find is that the sound goes through it, hits the concrete wall behind, and then comes back. But each time it goes through, it loses some of the energy. So as a result, the room, some of the energy is being taken out, which is what you kind of want to kind of bring it back to a level place. So the room actually sounds a lot less gloomy, and I'm figuring the more sheets go in, the tighter it will get, and that's the aim. So hopefully we achieve that. All right.
Over and out.